Eric Ware against a Pollinator here. It doesn't look like they changed anything up yet. Eric Ware still has Judy Fiend Sentinels. He is waiting, though, to put on his helmet and weapon. As Lupak was saying, if he puts it on too fast, the other team might see it. He is running the standard Helmet of Valor Black Monk staff, though. Doesn't look like Watano changed anything either. He's ready for Pollinator as the action begins.
We did see the tome on some of them to speed up that circle of life, but Eric is going to go in early. Defensive Fatal Blade actually going back, trying to, as you said, Tazik, stop a Pollinator from getting on top of his healer, slowing him down. A Pollinator loves to play that separation play. Down goes the Judy, as a lot of pressure is coming out from the June Esports team. Pollinator needs to be careful. Goof is recharging. Luckily, his quiver ended before he could shred that tank, but comfortably taking control of the high ground. Eric now looking to get something on this Fatal Blade on the choke. He's waiting for the range DPS to commit, and there it goes. He doesn't get Scoliosis, though. Only one of the two, but Suriel not getting to free play. Down goes the Circle of Life. Now Ecuador goes in, interrupts the area of decay. Alib's being pressured out of this choke. And the June Esports team holding strong in the top, but they're not getting any caps right now, so there's no point danger for either team. And actually, the other team, the Pollinator's team, might actually choose to go and get the back cap, and it looks like they are. And Beand is going to dip out for the top cap, which is going to create a lot of space. They're going to get 5v4 on
4v5.
top. This is a mistake. This is a mistake from June Esports. They're going to give up the top and potentially go into a 2-1 cap here. Goof has to use the evasive jump. Pollinator's kidnapped him. Goof with no defensive on the boots. He's going to have to stand his ground for a little while. There goes the shred. 2 stacks, 3 stacks. Armor Pierce goes out, but the save comes down. Watano pops the Purity, trying to peel with that robe of Purity. Suriel gets 1 Ghost Strike, can't finish the job. Pollinator has no damage. Finally, the breeze. The Circle of Life is interrupted. Huge momentum now for a Pollinator's team, as they gotta go through with Onetricks boys. They're looking for the kill. Can they convert it? As Goof, Mortal Agony, Suriel. Yes! Goof goes down. Suriel taking first blood against one of the tournament favorites. The Circle of Life again coming down. Watano on point with these, but that 1 interrupt cost them in that engagement, Tazik.
That whole engagement started with a 4v5 misplay from the June team. They sent a guy top way after they realized that the red team was bot getting the cap, and then it ended up with Goof royal shoesing way too early. He ended up rolling not far enough and gets swapped way into the back line of the red team. It was a big misplay from Empire in that fight.
Yeah, they could have just held. They could have just held and took the 2 cap, 1 cap in mid versus 1 cap in the bottom. But once again, Eric now wants to make amends for that first one. Very early purge onto Scoliosis, but he immediately has a second quiver ready to go. One of the best bow players to ever pick up the weapon here. You are watching in action as Eric tries to control this backline. They're stacking a little bit, so the Fatal Blade is getting far too much value. Nice armor pierce. Goof once again picked off by Scoliosis, and proven to be the weak spot in this team. Again, we are watching my top 2 picks for bow here. Like, if you are a bow player, this is a masterclass for you. But something is going horribly wrong for June Esports right now, Taz.
Goof in that corner, it almost looks like Dip in the other match where you saw Gargara just spinning him in it. Goof was just stuck there for a second. And this is why you see a lot of bow players and just RDPS in general prefer either the Blink shoes or the Assassin shoes, because they get that movement speed when they roll. But when you're with the Royal shoes, you just have that one long roll that doesn't even go further than the Ironclad spin. So he has to be really careful at how he uses that. He got stuck in the corner, but they're coming down now to get the cap. They actually stopped him from getting the cap, Lupak.
Yeah, 3 cap interruption very early for the 20-point rotation, but they should be able to hold as Watano. Early Purity for him. Goof once again. This time he gets the Purity, the Purging Shield off, as Suriel takes a lot of pressure, but I don't think they're going to be able to press for the 20, but a Pollinator maybe didn't get that memo. Eric gives him the stun, gives him a little tickle. Cartwheel's committed. He doesn't have a Fatal Blade to throw. There's the swap. He swaps Carvinen to find the angle, but still doesn't get the cap. This might have been an overcommitment here. I don't think they'll be playing too cocky against a team as strong as June Esports. The sweeping bolt goes down, gets a good connection. Scoliosis, this time Pierce again. Oh, the combos. The armor piercer with the quiver shred and the Mortal Agony onto Goof. He nearly gets 1-tapped, but he's going to survive. And now the turnaround. Bean finds the opening on Scoliosis. Both Stalkers have been activated. He turns his attention to Uraz on the healing. Alivs is caught in a horrible position, gets the armor pierce, 4 stacks onto Carvinen. They might get the trade, but Watano's circle comes down in the nick of time, and now it's 4v5, and the momentum is all in the direction of June Esports. Now they're running for their lives. 2 clean engages, but the comeback begins. Suriel is low. Uraz gets caught behind as Eric maybe wants to push for more. The circle comes down, the DPS comes surging forward. They don't want to overcommit. It's back to a 5v5, and Uraz with the breeze has finally stabilized, so they're going to pull back to the high ground. There's the silence. Commits the Demon Helm to Eric. The Mortal Agony was just off the threshold to activate, and Apollinator went for the interrupt, and it's going to cost him dearly as Goof has finally found some space and picks up the kill from his bow. June Esports back in business, Taz.
I have to be honest, dude. Bean's individual micro in that whole drawn-out engagement was insane. Bean played that so well. From every engagement that he went, every chain slash, every stalker hood, it was just perfect. And I really like the use of the Demon Helm onto Apollinator there to keep him silenced while he can't run away from his team. Or sorry, that he can't run away and get the heals that he needs because he can't cartwheel out, he can't black monk, he can't use anything.
You never want to use a Demon Helm on a plate user unless you absolutely have to because of the additional CC resistance. But in that situation, it was definitely the right call. And here,
it was a very well play. Very well executed play, because normally you wouldn't be ready for it because you never do it. But these guys were able to pull it off so effectively. And now Elevate is back. Surreal already very low. Have to use his shoes. His loop back is now going to take over.
Eric Wurr is playing hard for this 3-cap. They did lose around 50 points or 42 points in the first couple of engages, so they're trying to claw it back with these 3-caps. They are still behind, but the next rotation will change anything. Aliv's slightly aggressive here. The Mortal Agony comes through, but Bean actually holds off on the Ghost Strike. Whether it was on cooldown or whether he was trying to bait the defensives, I'm not sure. But either way, Aliv's will get a get-out-of-jail-free card there because he did not pop a defensive. The block finally comes out. Oh, the double Ghost Strike nearly finishes him. He survives on a slither. But in the meantime, at the other end, Scoliosis finds space onto Carvin, and they're going to get the trade onto Scoliosis. He goes down. It's 1-for-1 exchange. The crossbow for the bow. 4 versus 4, but it's a 3-cap in favor of June Esports, but they lose Goof. But they're going to trade onto Alivs. All of the ranged DPS are going to die. Euros gets
soldier helmet.
Oh, the sacrifice comes down. The Stalker goes out. The Breeze will give him some resistances, but Bean can possibly still finish him. Can he? Yes. All the ranged DPS are now dead. It's going to be who can reinforce the quickest. Carvenan is back in the fight. But this whole time, June Esports had the 3-cap, so they got the 20 rotations. Scoliosis is back in the fight. Suriel's in trouble. He's a bit more tanky than the ranged DPS, and of course, playing that Death Givers gives him a lot of iframe options and survivability. Scoliosis, Purge and Shield comes down. 5 versus 4. And right now, Onetricks can't reinforce until their 5th can get back to them. He's coming around the other way because now the back door is closed. Alivs is there. It's still a 3-cap, though. They don't want to eat another 20 tick. I think they might just give up the fight here. Nice area decay. Stacking up Goof. The Pierce goes out. Uses his Purging Shield. Scoliosis doesn't have his Mage Robe available to counter it. Eric going in. He's starting to run very, very low on energy, though. I believe he might be running the stun passive just for extra CC. No, he is on energetic. Suriel gets pierced. One more hit should do it. Tank kill. Tank kill on Suriel. There we go. Eric Wurr with the cartwheel to finish it off. It's a double kill, though. Goof gets traded on. So it's 1-for-1. Bean needs to be careful. The sweeping bolt comes out the circle. That's an interrupt on the circle. This is huge now. Onetricks have a good opportunity, but Uraz doesn't call for his team to push. He's not confident. They don't have much health themselves. Scoliosis finding space. No Goof to worry about. This circle goes through cleanly. Apollinator waiting for that kidnap. Down goes the Judy armor. Stun onto Carvenan. Eric needs to be careful. Scoliosis doesn't have his quiver right now. Explosive going to be popped. Quiver coming out. As the reinforcements. Goof is back in the fight now. Alivs isn't in the fight. He's in the north. He's going for a back cap. Bean has spotted it, but it's going to be too late. Now, that was a really nice play, providing Onetricks could stay alive. Suriel's going for the top cap. And this is going to cause a bit of a split. Suriel's playing Death Givers, which is a really good build to do this, because you've got a lot of survivability. You can chain slash back to your own team, pretty much. He's actually used the Ghost Strike up top for a bit of survivability. Goof is juking it out at the top as Eric's still trying to control this back line. And Uraz healing out of his mind here. The Druid Robe is popped. The Purge. Oh, they get the Purge on top of the Druid Robe, so he loses the Obsessive Burst. Suriel is forced to dismount, which gives him a 5-second GCD before he can get into this fight. Scoliosis now with the Mage Armor. It's going to be okay for now. Another circle comes down. Very, very back and forth fight, but that points bleed from June Esports. Just having that 3-cap for the duration. The back cap was completely necessary. Eric is now very, very low on energy. Goof caught once again the circle. Oh, Apollinator swaps Goof instead of Watano. Could have cancelled the circle there. Slight misplay. Will it cost them? We will see. As Beamed, he's got the Stalker. The Ghost Strike was used to survive there. Down goes the Judy, and that's the area of decay across the choke. One more circle comes out, but Eric got stripped of his hots, so he didn't get the full circle value. Suriel now trying to get that opening. He's waiting for the Mortal Agony. He's going for the finisher. The Pierce comes out. Chain Slash goes through. Mortal Agony onto Goof. 1-2. They're going to get him. Suriel finds the angle. The deadly shots raining down from above. Eric's going to have to go to 10. I think they need a full reset, but maybe not. Maybe they just get straight back into it. Who knows?
This is a really close back and forth. The engagements are so drawn out, and Empire doesn't care where they go. They just chase the fight. They'll fight at anyone's 10, at any cap. They're just fighting anywhere on this map.
This is a 3 cap now, and Onetricks are definitely going to want to pressure this. They are not going to want to give up this 3 cap, especially as Goof is not even back in the fight yet. They only need to hold for 15 to grab the 20. Scoliosis is already stacked on the quiver. June. Esports, Goof has only just started on his own quiver, so there's a massive bow advantage for Scoliosis. And look at the angle for these deadly shots. He's just shutting down that corner, and they're letting Bean get almost all the way through the cap. But now Suriel caught out, stunned, pierced, caught in the Fatal Blade as well. Sacrifice had to be dropped there. Apollinator now pulling back. There's a 20-point rotation, one of the closest matches we've seen so far. Neither of these teams wants the early Derek matchup, but Suriel is going to get picked off. So many defensives used in that first catch. Eric does need to respect the DPS of this team. He already has max stacks. Fatal Blade gets all 4. We could see some more kills, Taz, as they go back to 10 now.
I think the red team should keep fighting this, actually. Elevate could easily stay here until their teammate comes back. They're still holding 20 ticks. They don't want to let them get mid, get top. They can get another 20 easily. Uraz has to blink away to the 10, but they could wait and stay for sure on this choke and keep getting at least a 10 tick. I'm sure they can even get a 20 if Scoliosis wants to walk up here. As Goof gets swapped in, Apollinator is going to cancel the cap instead of just killing Goof there. I like that identification. Instead of the 4 points on a Goof kill, they go for the guaranteed 20 tick.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a lot more points in terms of the match, and they're actually going to have reinforcements now, so they're going to lose top cap finally. They don't quite get the 20, but they're back to a 5v5, and they have that momentum swing. They did good job holding the ground 4v4. Honestly, though, I think Scoliosis could have interrupted with Deadly Shot. I think
he could have walked up, yeah. Apollinator made enough movement for him to be able to walk up.
Slight tunnel vision gets purge of his quiver. These Helms of Valor coming down, that huge AoE purge and cleanse. Coming in clutch. Beamed. Stalker jacket for Scoliosis. 1 Ghost Strike, 2 Ghost Strikes. Down goes Scoliosis. And now June Esports. They're going to look to turn this into a 2 cap.
That was a misplay from him. You gotta be careful with your positioning. You've just used Royal Shoes next to them. You know that you don't have that defensive, and you know that he's holding his Deathgiver E. That can kill you from full HP if you're not careful. I wouldn't have walked up that far.
They're straight
holding top.
They don't want to turn it into a 3. They're going to wait the few seconds. Oh, it's going to be close. I don't think they
got it. It's only going to be a 10.
It's going to be very, very close, though, because there's like a little delay before it rolls over. Nope. Oh, just in time. That's very, very painful for them. But now the Fatal Blade's going to deny this choke. And June Esports, they just need to squeeze the last little bit out of this fight, don't they? They've got it in a chokehold right now, and they just need to keep that pressure up. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong, they shouldn't be able to lose from here, unless they lose 2 people very, very quickly. But it's definitely something that can happen, especially when Scoliosis gets up with that bow. Oh, rolls out of the Purity. If they get Watano, that is a game changer. No healer will be a big problem. Bean, though, might be able to find Uraz here. Uraz gets caught. He gets stunned. Chain Slash goes through. More Agony. 1 Ghost Strike. 2nd Ghost Strike. Come in. Uraz goes down, and that's going to be game. Watano,
they trade healer for healer.
It's healer for healer, but it's 10 seconds. They're just going to die for the cap. Eric just has to stop this cap on bot, and it's game. And surely they get Suriel anyway. It's not going to matter. I think he will actually grab the cap, and he will only be a 10. But it's going to be too little too late with 15 minutes gone. The respawns are very, very long right now. Alev's going to the top. Maybe, though. Maybe they might be able to get Eric and turn this into a match.
It's a 4v3 right now. Watano is still in the 10. Eric and his team need to reset right now. Very quickly regroup and go mid.
Carvenant's going to interrupt mid, I think.
Yeah, you can just run mid right now for free. And
now they just need to suicide now. Like, they just suicide 5 people on the mid cap. Unless Apollinator...
Carvenant went down.
Apollinator did a great job of the cap. The cap switches. Apollinator hurricaned out 4 people.
They can get a 20 tick. They can go down and get a 20 right now.
How? Like, June Esports should have closed this one out, and they've just
I can't believe
at the last second. Like, Eric allowed the cap to happen under his nose on bot, then they didn't get through a pollinator to mid. Eric should have had a swap ready for that hurricane. Has to see it coming with those Fiend Sandals.
I really don't like this play from them. I don't like going down the choke now. They didn't even get the 20 tick. Why come down now?
But it's still in their hands. There's only 6 points in it. So a single
just
kill
rolled forward.
may be enough. Suriel's low. Uraz is low. There's a lovely chain slash onto 3. Fatal Blade for the control. There's the Mortal Agony. Uraz gets picked off. June Esports have managed to avoid an absolute disaster there. That was nearly an enormous throw. But the healer snipe there, great play again from Bean. Bean constantly impressing on these death givers. Suriel, Ghost Strike to survive, will only keep him alive for so long. And there we go. That was...
Onetricks needed to go down way early here. Why did they wait so late? They went at the worst time. The Pollinator again looking to play with the same style. He's not running Swap and Bop anymore. He's running Demon Helm. But it also is a one-hand nature on the enemy team.
I like that. Eric will probably be pleased with that with the cartwheel as they go straight towards the center. So it's the Ironclad again. Heavy crossbow, bow, death givers into
no changes. Looks like
bow, which we did see kick out a lot of damage, but Suriel just wasn't able to get those finishers because of the counter pressure from Goof. And here we see the quiver going straight into Suriel. The Circle of Life comes down. Good Fatal Blade on the choke. They do manage to slip by on the right-hand side, though it didn't actually end up catching them as Eric trying to get something out there now. After they didn't take that damage debuff, they are able to push pretty hard here, but they are in the duty for the reset, waiting for Uraz to stabilize the team before they can push in. A Pollinator going in deep, is looking for that kidnap, but can't find anybody just giving it to him right now, and they're stacking on the choke, letting Bean get out monstrous chain slashes. Nice area decay onto Eric. Suriel caught behind. The save comes out. The Ghost Strike used defensively. Still no caps, still no kills, so both teams just playing it a little bit cautious. Nobody wants to give up the first engage. That's always a big momentum swing. And you know those death givers can get a pick at any time. Eric faking the cap out. Just trying to cause a bit of content there. Nice chain slash. Circle goes out. This should be the cue to go in. Honestly, for one trick. But they are playing very cautiously. The Hots get stripped off of Goof, but Watano's got plenty of space. Carven now, it's the silence and spin. Suriel pops the Stalker, but Eric goes in with the counter control. Fatal Blade, again, not as clean as it could be. Alivs has overstepped the mark, though. Goof is absolutely shredding him. Now he finally gets the Mage Armor activated, as well as the Judy coming down. So they've got a bit of space, and it looks like Onetricks are slowly making progress into this high ground. Mortal Agony connects just before Alivs gets healed, so he takes a lot of damage there. Uraz now has gone a bit too far. Purity popped. He's going to blink out, waiting for that next Circle of Life. But as we saw in the first match, the longer this fight goes on, the more value that curse creates. As long as he can keep the dots up, it'll be very, very hard to out-heal as a nature. But Alivs, there's just no dots on anyone right now. He's just not finding the space he needs to get value out of that curse. Suriel with the Ghost Strike, and Alivs does get brought down. They clumped heavily there. Goof with the evasive jump in for more kills. He wants Scoliosis. He wouldn't mind a free bow set. Suriel gets pierced. Circle of Life should see them okay, but a Pollinator at the other end. And it's going to be first blood to June Esports, Taz.
Yeah, Goof wasn't actually out of position a lot that match, but you saw it looked like a Pollinator had identified like a strategy where they wanted to go for Carvenin more. They targeted Carvenin 3 times out of 3 on all of their rotations. And then you saw Carvenin and I think it was Carvenin and Bean who were actually just shutting down Alibs. He wasn't able to get any of those curse dots off that he was that first match. It was very good from them to just look and shut him down while Pollinator was looking at Goof or Carvenin on the same side.
That fight went on so long that if the stacks had been in place, I think Onetricks would have just walked over them eventually. They would have just run out of steam, but he's not finding the space, and he's also stacking a little bit. Like he's dropping those area decays on one target super early. I know he wants to strip the Hots, but I think he just needs to get it in gear here, kick it up a notch. But now he's actually getting some good sickles off. Goof gets caught, back goes the stun. The Demon Helm comes down, but there, look at that Helm of Valor straight on top of the Demon Helm. Works as a cleanse as well as a purge. Now Alivs forced to use the block. Eric comes in, Ghost Strike. could be coming out onto Suriel as Bean driving the other Death Givers back. Now he gets bopped into a horrible position, and that area of decay was amazing. Goof might just die to stacks. He just gets picked off by Suriel. But Alivs, he is playing nothing like that first engage. He was getting stacks on everyone. The pierces were on point, and this is going to be a big problem. Eric's in a bit of trouble. The circle comes out. They don't quite get the interrupt. Might actually look for a turnaround here. Purge, good purge onto Scoliosis. He's going to get the quiver up as soon as possible. Sacrifice is used. The pierce comes down. And look at that position across the choke. If they push up there, there'll be an area of decay waiting to just strip them of everything. And this is a really, really nice play from Onetricks. And we could be in for a monster of a match again, but they let Eric up for free. And they didn't even turn it into a 2-cap. You've got to turn this into caps. You can't just win the fight and then forget about capping. Now they have the high ground, but they don't have the caps, and the Fatal Blade on the whole team. Uraz is in a horrible spot. He's going to blink. He's looking for the circle. Oh, they purge him. And the circle does next to nothing, but there isn't any follow-up pressure. Eric, in fact, has to peel back as Suriel and Apollinator are still causing problems. Sack goes on to Suriel. Deadly swipe to get out of there. Eric's on top of them. Needs to respect these stacks. Scoliosis is going to start shredding him. Eric's in big trouble here. One more. Overextended, didn't respect the Scoliosis bow, and down he goes. They do hold on to another rotation of points, but this time they're not going to be able to recover this one, Taz.
I gotta say, Uraz played that very well for how bad of a state his team put him in. Like, they didn't get the mid cap. They let Eric just collapse on them, and Uraz was so caught out, and he managed to use his cooldowns very effectively to survive that. That was really good of him. He did get canceled with that Helmet of Valor, though, so it was kind of unlucky for him, but he played that really well. And then to turn around on Eric, who was overextended to the last second with Scoliosis bow, that was a very good identification from the red team.
I'm liking this as well from Onetricks, you know, putting a lot of pressure with that curse across the choke, just delaying the rotation. They actually thought about pushing out, but it's not like the old permafrost curse meta where you could have an enemy team on half health at that bottom choke. They're not able to like capitalize on that
there's
anymore.
No double E on the choke, just the curse.
Look at that area decay again. Every time he drops that, they just can't push. Buys another rotation, buys 10 more points.
Carvenin has no role next to Apollinator.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here. He's got Demon Helm, but they actually bopped Apollinator away, so he wasn't able to turn it into a Hurricane play. And now Eric is on top of the DPS. Stalkers go down. Goof gets stunned, and they do look for a bit of pressure on him, but he's getting free cast onto Scoliosis. Scully was stunned, so didn't get the Purging Shield. Finally comes out. Circle from June Esports. Now they have a lot of momentum, and a Fatal Blade through the choke as they try to retreat. This is bad news for Onetricks and Uraz. Robe of Purity. Look how Eric just glides around the edge of that Purity. Doesn't take a single bop. The circle for June Esports, and they have a ton of momentum right now. Suriel gets topped off, but Scoliosis and Apollo are below half. They can't get into this fight. The Fatal Blade is stopping them getting out of this fight, and Apollinator could be dropping here. Eric, though, he has already dropped an 8-3 Judy in this fight in that death. So this could get costly. If this turns into another bloodbath, this could be a very, very costly one. Still a 2-cap, though. Onetricks being driven off the high ground. Watano on the healer, going for the cap. Apollinator is surely not going to let him have it. Cartwheels in. Oh, he lets him take it. He couldn't actually cast the Fiends because of line of sight there. It's going to be a 2-cap now for the June Esports boys. Onetricks push up. There goes the Breeze. They're ready to get into action. Goof stripped of hots once again. Alivs gets stunned and shredded. Finally gets the Purging Shield off, which prevents the bow follow-up. Carvenin. Sacrifice has already been used on Carvenin. Alivs blocks the auto fire. Does get out of there. There's the reset. Alivs, though, is starting to run low on energy as this fight drags on. Having to get those autos off for the energetic, but Scoliosis gets picked off. Bean finding a great angle there. Suriel's in a bit of trouble. Ghost Strike and Roll are going to get committed. Another Fatal Blade. Alivs has no block, but the Circle of Life will see him okay. And June Esports taking the momentum in a very close match, Taz.
These guys are finding kills, you know. June Esports is making a few mistakes, but it's not like the other team, Apollinator, is finding these plays, right? They're not out of hope, but it's just not working for them. They need to identify what they're doing wrong. And I think it's actually that the Curse Staff is playing a little too passive. Right, he's doing a lot of damage, but he has that soldier helmet on. That just shows how afraid he is of being. He has soldier helmet. He doesn't have valor or any other utility. He's playing for himself with it. Very greedy. So I think it kind of shows where their minds are.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, the Purge is so much value in a nature meta as well. You know, you can, especially against Circle of Life, you can effectively just make the Circle of Life do nothing for one rotation, hit that, and get an interrupt on the next one, and you've got full momentum. Nice area of decay, though. He's just putting it on top of Goof. Goof is the target most of the time, which is doing a lot of damage, but it's making them very, very predictable. Suriel, good knock away there. For the Robe of Purity, Yura is actually saving Halibs from the follow-up. Down goes their circler now. Beand has to pull back. Apollinator is in position. Did he get the interrupt? I think he did just get the interrupt. So Carvenan doesn't get a circle. Eric trying to slow the follow-up. Suriel needs to be careful. Area of Decay used defensively. Goof in a ton of trouble. Good use of the Mage Robe. Does purge the enemy bow. And the stabilization comes. Goof's evasive jump. There's one Ghost Strike. There's the Chain Slash with the Stalker follow-up. Goof goes down. It's still a 3-cap. Can they trade onto Suriel? They swap him back. They cartwheel. The breeze resistance is into the Circle of Life, though. He's going to be okay. It's 4 versus 5. But June Esports didn't get that memo. They are coming on up anyway. Beand has to be saved there. Suriel has to use the Ghost Strike defensively. Circle comes down. Suriel didn't really get anything out of that. Carvenan now. He gets the breeze. He's going to push up. They grab the cap, but they won the fight, and it's still a 2-cap against Alhivs. He's going to roll. He could be in trouble here. The auto fire gets the block off before the auto fire proc. So he does just about survive. Eric runs through the area of decay. Alhivs is one hit, though. Beand finishes him off, although the crossbow did the majority of work there. Onetricks winning a fight and still not being able to turn it into points, Taz.
It looks like they're just lack of experience, as they do actually turn on to Bean right there at the end. Bean overextended into Suriel. But the fact that this is the 3rd or 4th time that they've won a fight and not gotten their 10 tick off and just lose points for free shows how maybe the other team is a little better at the cap.
Yeah.
Putting pressure.
Scoliosis in a lot of trouble in the back. Another Helm of Valor comes down onto him. Even with this Assassin's Hood build, they are doing such a good job. Evasive jump. Oh, he lands in the corner. He lands in the corner. The auto fire will finish him off. And that is not one that he's going to want to watch back in slow motion. He's going to be thankful that we don't have the action replay of that particular jump. But it does happen. They do get the trade onto Goof, which does continue this fight. It's now 3 versus 4. No, 4 versus 4, because they are back in business with Alibs. And that's a nice area of decay, stripping the frontline hots. The Judy keeping them stable for now. But as soon as that's gone, Alibs is out there with the armor pierce onto Carvenan. One hit, the circle. The circle was faked or interrupted. I couldn't quite see because it was off screen. Carvenan does end up surviving, though. Bean, Apollinator just, the tank is just trying to cap.
They've still not gotten the cap.
This is the longest fight of the tournament so far. Reinforcements keep coming in, despite the fact that we're 11 plus minutes into the fight. This is just unbelievable right now. Everybody's energy is starting to wane as well. Carvenan, he's running low. Apollinator's running low on energy. Eric's starting to have a bit of trouble. Another block going to be used. And there's the combo onto Goof. This time he gets down the choke nicely. Uraz, he gets stunned out of this. No stabilization. There's, oh, the circle. The circle was cancelled, and Suriel pays the blood price for that. A 10-point, though, does go the way of Onetricks, and they get Goof. It's a trade once again. But this time it was melee for the ranged DPS. And honestly, losing the bow is probably the biggest hit to a team. Carvenan purge. They get Carvenan as well. Onetricks fighting back. They should get Eric.
This might be the turnaround.
Unless Watano has a big save. Alivs, he's found his sack now. He's like, you say I'm playing passive, Passive, you said?
What the heck? That was a power play from him. But they got top caps, so they got a 10 tick in the middle of that engagement, and now they're going to get a 20 if they come down and stop Empire from getting the spot cap. They could come back right now.
They've got to go. They've got to press this. They've got to take this to a game 3. This is their moment. This is their moment. You know,
I would love to see game 3.
This is a team that none of the casters picked. We knew it was a wild card because of the individual skill, but they just weren't as proven as the other teams. This is their moment to change it all. There's a 20. They need to not overextend. Suriel, big pressure. Sacrifice had to be dropped by Uraz. He's not going to be happy using it so early into the fight. There's the reset, the purge onto Uraz. That was a nice Helm of Valor, but it's going to be 4 versus 5. They could push now if they want. Nice armor pierce goes down. Circle, Carvenan. Huge isolate onto Carvenan. He is in big trouble right now. The Purity plays on top. The Stalker, the saves are coming. He runs through the Judy. Oh my, how did Carvenan get out of that? That was beautiful from Uraz. He actually jumped in with the Purity and started making the counter plays. Now Suriel forced to use his dodge. Mortal Agony beamed, gets purged, can't commit to this. Finally, they grabbed that bot cap. That was beautiful from Onetricks though. Honestly, I felt like they should have had the kill there. There's the Fatal Blade causing a lot of damage reduction. And Onetricks are pushing with no DPS right now. They need to be very careful of a turnaround, another purge onto Scoliosis. There's the swap. He's meditating in front of the enemy team, but he's inside the Judy, so he's going to be okay. Now Goof isolated. Stalker Jacket goes down.
What? No silence.
Already hit the jump. No heal coming. Suriel could finish the job.
No silence. Goof might go down.
Can they finish it? Yes, he gets the finisher on it. And it's 52 to 44. Onetricks on the verge of a very big upset here in game 2. Uraz stabilizing Bean. He's not going to get out. Ghost Strike, is he? Suriel's ready. Oh,
that was very low micro from him to get out of there alive. But, oh my god, did this team just flip a switch or something? They played that engagement so well. They should have killed Carvenan at the start. Then they go down, they almost killed Bean, they killed Goof. Goof might be out of sets, to be completely honest.
He's not out of sets in this tournament. Come on. Come on.
But he's died 5 times this match, 5 times last match, 5 times the match before.
You're bringing 10 to this. Like, no joke. Beamed. A lot of pressure again. Alevs is really getting these
Onetricks turned to switch on, dude. They're playing so well.
He got the 20, though. I really think they could have pressured the 20. There's a good silence. There's a purge onto Beamed as well. The Mortal Agony comes through. The sacrifice might not even be enough. He might just die to the curse stacks. Alevs takes Beamed out of it. And now they could make a beeline for Goof because this is getting very, very expensive for him.
Please get the 20 tick, dude. This can go to game 3.
I mean, they could just squeeze them out now. They're rotating. They can take a 4 versus 5 while they wait for Beamed. Like
we're 16 minutes in. Death timers are long. Yeah, they can easily come down here and hold the 20.
This is so close right now.
Beamed just now getting alive. Pollinator trying to make a play.
Good use of the Purity from Watano there, actually interrupting the Hurricane. They kind of want to pressure Eric. The Purge goes down. They've got the 3. But is he gonna dip? Is he gonna dip for the cap, or are they just gonna go 5 versus 5 and eat the 20? There goes the dive play. Uraz needs to get out of there. He will use the breeze if he needs to for the resistance. Bean could just finish him right now. He cannot graveguard himself. He gets the circle out. They're just diving for Uraz now. The crossbow, if he stabilizes, they've committed all of their mobility.
Beamed into Uraz.
But this could be. They could just play. They could just like.
They need a suicide for 40 seconds.
No, they can't. There's not enough of them. Alevs is too low. If Alev stacks them, he can buy some time, but Suriel's going to go. Alev's going to go. It's a 4. It's a 4 into a 3 cap into the game. They threw. It
was off screen, so probably people didn't see that, but a Pollinator spun Beamed into Uraz. Uraz was safe. He was going to survive that, and then Bean got knocked into him. No, man.
That is...
It's going to be a 20 tick, but the red team should come out.
No, because they don't even have to contest the 3.
Just overcharged. They want to come out, he just overcharged.
They don't have to contest the 3, though. They just suicide for the 2 now. Yeah. You watch the back cap, you suicide for the 2. It's over. Eric is calling in Say chat, by the way, the enemy numbers.
Yeah.
I love this.
He doesn't have a mic, I believe.
It's 2020. How?
I think it broke and he's playing without a mic today, is what I've been told.
Just connect Discord to your phone at that point. Like you legit could just do that. Do you not have phones? But this is painful. I really feel for the Onetricks guys. I mean, I'm glad they're progressing though, because this is a team that was on the verge of a huge upset.
They killed Suriel for the win.
They will finish the job. Is there anything left in the Cargera fight, by the way? Can we get straight over